Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to the 21st season of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey. I'm Jack Nolan, joined as always by the head coach of the Fighting Irish. And Coach, your biggest opponent since the spring has been and remains dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. What kinds of challenges has that presented to you as a head coach?
It is a daily mindset of testing, keeping your guys safe, hopefully praying that they're living a clean lifestyle, so to speak, and testing negatively, which for the most part, since the season has started, we've done very well.
You have played a very challenging schedule, 4 ranked teams in your first 8 games, and you've taken some lumps. You're 3-5, but you have been improving just about every game. How would you evaluate where your team is right now?
You know, I love our team, Jack, and we have been thrown to the wolves, and that was, you know, part my doing, part the ACC's doing, and I kind of love it, you know, especially in this pandemic crazy year, kids getting a chance to play really good teams and play big games. And overall, I've loved how we've handled it. I like who we are offensively. We play the right way. I don't like who we are defensively, and we are working to get better there.
Folks, when we come back, we will begin to break down what is probably the most challenging first month of the season in Notre Dame basketball history on this edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball. It's time now for our game breakdown, brought to you by our friends at Meyer. 8 games to break down, so let's begin with the season opener at Michigan State. Tough night. You got blitzed early, but rallied to cut that final margin to 10 points.
Yeah, who scheduled that one out of the gate? Go to East Lansing and play Michigan State. You know, they really kind of mauled us and guarded us, and our transition defense was really horrible to end the half, and we took a big punch. I was pleased with how we played in the second half. We played more like us in the second half.
And Prentice Hub had a game-high 23 points in that contest. Now, after your games against Western Michigan and Tennessee were scratched due to COVID-19, you added a veteran Detroit Mercy squad on Sunday, December 6th. The Detroit Mercy squad that almost beat State at State, and your team bounced back with a very solid performance in a 78-70 win with all 5 starters finishing in double figures and Dane Goodwin recording his first career double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds.
Well, it was a good bounce-back win for us, and as you said, you know, Detroit needed a game, we needed a game, and we were able to get them in here on a Sunday evening, a veteran group who could really score it, and I thought our defense was really solid. We had game pressure on us. We lost the lead with about 5 minutes to go by 1, and then we came back on, I think, about a 13-0 run to finish it with a lot of different guys playing well. So, you know, we needed to bounce back and feel good in the locker room after a tough night at Michigan State.
Now, next up, a home game against Ohio State. Really good performance. 4 guys in double figures. Prentice Hub with a game-high 26 points. But you needed one more body. And without Nick Jogo available due to an ankle injury, your guys just ran out of gas down the stretch in a 90-85 loss.
Very, you know, it was disappointing for us, Jack, because we played so well till about the 8-minute mark in the game. And you're right, we were a little down bodies not having Nick. We certainly didn't have Trey eligible. Our rookies were still rookies playing against Power 5 competition, Big Ten competition. And you know, that's where we could not get enough stops and defensive rebounds to make a difference. We scored 85 points. We were fine offensively, but we gave up 90.
So the Saturday after the Ohio State loss, kind of a pivotal part of the season, you head on down to Rupp Arena, a place Notre Dame had never won, to take on a Kentucky team. Yes, they're struggling, but they have 3 projected first-round NBA picks, and you turn in a terrific first half to take a 24-point lead, and then you hold on for a 1-point victory.
Well, it was one of the great halves we've ever played, and to be up 24 at halftime in Rupp Arena, you're a little bit in shock. It's the one time all the coaches sat in the locker room and nobody had anything to say. What are you going to say when you're up 24? What are you going to suggest? It was almost like, let's get out there and see if we can get this clock to run out, which we kind of had to do. They really guarded us in the second half and got up into us and pressed us a little bit, and we couldn't score. But I give our guys credit for hanging in there and defending enough and rebounding enough to escape and get a win in Rupp, which, and I know there wasn't 20,000 people there, and it still means a lot to our basketball program to get the first win in Lexington, Kentucky.
The guys you expected to lead this year in that 64-63 win did. Nate Liszewski, 21 points, 9 rebounds. Prentice Hub, 18 points. We will return to take a look at the second half of Notre Dame's December schedule right after this timeout on Inside Notre Dame Basketball, presented by TireRack.com, the ultimate in contactless tire buying. Welcome back to the Mike Brey Show. Mike, I know you hope to build on the win over Kentucky in your next game against Duke. And did I mention you played a suicide schedule in December? I think I mentioned that as well. But yes, Duke played, yeah, I know. Duke played exceptionally well on a night you shot the ball well, but you didn't defend well, and they beat you 75-65.
Jack, it's the one time this season, and again, we've played the best schedule in the country, and the plot only thickens with going to North Carolina Saturday. It was the one time I didn't think we came out and really competed and dug in enough. The other times, the other games we have, and we were not good enough to finish, and it was disappointing because when I looked at it, I said, wow, we would have a chance to beat the Kentucky program and the Duke program in a 5-day period. For Notre Dame basketball, that would have been huge. And that still disappoints me that we missed that opportunity, but Duke kind of earned it and outplayed us.
The one bright spot in this game, and when you look at the history of Dane Goodwin, coach's kid, solid player, freshman year, really good non-conference, then he hits that wall when you jump into the league. Against Duke, 10 of 12 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3, 25 points, the best he's ever played against quality competition.
Now, it was a real coming out party for him against high level. But now as a junior, I just feel so good about Dane and really Prentice and Nate. The three of them that we invested in as freshmen, they are really giving us return on investment, playing like men and veterans now.
Now the gauntlet continued at this point as 3 days after the Duke game, you take on Purdue in the Crossroads Classic in Indianapolis. And the Boilers blitzed you early, hitting 8 of their first 10 shots, including a couple of threes on the way to building a 15-point lead. Now, you did tie it at 53 in the second half, but you're never able to take the lead down the stretch in what turned out to be an 88-78 loss. Of course, Trey Wirtz, the bright spot in this one, scoring 27 points with 5 assists and 4 rebounds.
The thing that knocked us back is we really prepared to guard their big guys because they're so inside-oriented with their two bigs. And they just shot it better than we expected. And you got to tip the cap to them. And then every time we made a run at them, end of the first half, second half, somebody would hit a big three for them. And so, again, we gave up 88 points. We scored enough. 78's a lot of points in a game. We were pretty good offensively. But again, what keeps showing up for this group is shooting percentages are too high against us. And point totals are too high. You can't put that much pressure on your offense, even though we're really gifted offensively.
Well, you had good reason to expect Purdue not to shoot the way they did because they hadn't. They came in at 37% from 3, but they hit 50 against you guys. So you come home, you get ready to fly to Syracuse when COVID scratches that game. So you scramble and you add traditional Division II power Bellarmine now in their first season of Division I play. And your 81-70 victory turns out to be one of the best played games of the season. You shoot 60.5% from the floor, 40% from 3, with Dane Goodwin leading the way with a career high 27 points.
Well, again, we get a cancellation and we're able to turn it around and play. And Bellarmine, came up, bust up, and again, a really good Catholic school from Louisville, as you said, now in Division I, but we couldn't get away from them. They're a really good team. They're hard to guard, but we were really good offensively and efficient, shooting 60%. And we played a lot of zone for the first time. We got some zone defense work in, and that really helped us because they were hard to chase through their offensive pattern.
Now, this is usually where I say, then everyone went home for Christmas, but not in the year of COVID-19. the team stayed in town in the basketball bubble. There was no Sugar Plum game this year. Celebrated Christmas at your house and got ready to take on 23rd ranked Virginia. You got off to a slow start offensively, but then both of your big guys played great. Liszewski had a career high 28, Durham 19. You cut an 11-point lead down to 1 twice late in the second half, but again, you couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, I love how we found ourselves offensively playing through our big guys and playing through Juwan in the low post. Maybe we found a more of an offensive identity against that level of a team. But I think at key times, Jack, you could say, well, you know, we missed a three-point shot here that would have given us the lead, or we missed a three-point shot there that would have given us the lead. We couldn't stick our nose in and defend consistently enough in the last 5 or 6 minutes and get loose balls that came off the rim. And, you know, against really good teams, which is everything on our schedule the rest of the way, by the way, against really good athletic teams, you can't win unless you're better in that department. So, you know, that's our challenge as we move to Chapel Hill.
When we come back, we will be joined by a young man who is having an outstanding junior season for the Irish, forward Nate Liszewski. Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Basketball. Joining us now is junior forward Nate Liszewski out of Jupiter, Florida. Nate is having by far the best season of his career. After scoring a career-high 28 points against Virginia, Nate is averaging a team-high 16.3 points per game with a team-high 8.1 rebounds per game. He is hitting 66% of his shots overall, 57% from three, and entered this week 4th in the country with an effective field goal percentage of just under 76%. Nate, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I know you've been working very hard on your game. What do you credit with the reasons for the huge step you've taken from being a good player to a very, very good player?
Yeah, I think definitely this off season. You know, even though we didn't get to come back to school, just staying in contact with Coach T-Row, staying in the weight room. You know, he had a lot of really good stuff for me, as well as staying in contact with Coach Brey and Coach Humphreys. You know, Coach Humphreys been a big impact on my game. You know, whether it's shooting, scoring inside, rebounding. You know, he's someone who has a lot of really good advice and has helped me a ton.
What's it been like dealing with COVID-19 really since last spring?
Yeah, for sure. That was, kind of a bummer we didn't get to come back for summer school. But, we take it, day by day, just coming in, trying to work, every single day, just knowing that, nothing is for certain. So I think just staying together.
You're a veteran on the floor. You are also a veteran on running the Inside Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break. So here we go.
Player on the team most like you?
I would say Cormac.
Best nickname on the team and who has it?
And I'll say Zona. I can go with big zone, a lot of different stuff.
Player on the team who will surprise fans the most this season?
I think Dane.
Best player to room with on the road?
I gotta go with my roommate, Robbie.
Toughest Notre Dame player to guard?
Juwan.
Best defender on the team?
Nick.
Best leaper on the team?
That's a toss-up probably between either Tony or Juwan, for sure.
Best dunker on the team?
Juwan.
Worst dunker on the team?
Elijah.
Best dresser on the team?
I'd say maybe, either Elijah or Cormac.
Worst dresser on the team?
Robbie.
Best singer on the team?
I don't know. Cormac sings a lot, so I just would have to go with him. So.
Worst singer on the team?
Probably myself.
Best comedian on the team?
Elijah.
All right, beard growing competition. Who wins, you or Coach Brey?
Coach Brey for sure.
Nate, as always, a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
We'll be back with more on this edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball, presented by TireRack.com, right after this timeout.
Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Basketball. It's time now for this week's Ask Coach Brey question, presented by the experts at TireRack.com. This week's question comes from Wes Troyer. Coach, have you guys been focusing on defense more in practice, and in what ways?
Yes, but you couldn't tell at this point, right? But there is a process to developing a team on both ends of the floor, and we continue to do it. I mean, I think our talk our defensive talk is not where it needs to be. But here's a weird thing. We practice with masks on, and I almost feel like it gives the guys an out to be muzzled a little bit. And so I'm trying to get them to yell through their masks and talk more. It all starts with communication on the defensive end.
Now, each week at this time, we normally name a Performer of the Week, but because this is our first show, we are going to name a Performer of the Month, and that honor goes to Nate Liszewski for his performance in Notre Dame's first 4 games of the season, all against talented non-conference opponents. Against Michigan State, Detroit Mercy, Ohio State, and Kentucky, Nate averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds while hitting 57% of his shots from three-point land. Here's a look.
Hub step back 3, in and out. Rebound, Liszewski spins into the lane, fakes, draws the foul, puts it up and in. What a play by Nate Liszewski. Got his man in the air, took the punishment, and threw it in before being knocked to the ground. He will go to the line to attempt the three-point play. Hub now passes in the lane to a cutting Liszewski, who drove it home with both hands. The jam, throws it inside. Liszewski makes the catch, puts it up and in. Great job by Liszewski. Liszewski to Hub. Hub now to Liszewski. Liszewski drives for the two-handed jam, and Notre Dame leads 42-34. Liszewski for 3. Got it! The Irish remain in fuego. Goodwin, left corner, Liszewski for 3. Got it! Hub up top to Liszewski. He fakes, and the nice pump fake gets him a wide open 16-footer, which he knocks down.
As you watch those highlights, what is jumping out at you?
First of all, his physicality has improved. He's stronger, and the man is getting more confident by the week. I am just so excited with how he's playing right now.
Coach Brey and I will return to wrap up this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball right after this timeout. Next up for the Irish, a 4 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday afternoon tip-off in Chapel Hill, replacing a scheduled 2 p.m. tip-off in Pittsburgh after COVID issues caused the Panthers to postpone a second straight game. So, Mike, tell me about the Tar Heels.
Big and physical up front. It's a program we know. We repeated them last year, as I mentioned. We have played them in big games, ACC championship game, East Regional Final in Philadelphia. Nate Liszewski throws one in at the buzzer to steal a W here in South Bend last year. But physical up front and transition and wanting to beat you up in the paint, a big challenge for us, because that's not an area where we're very good at, and we're trying to get better, being more physical in the paint.
Now, after that game, the Irish return home to host annual repeat opponent Georgia Tech. And through the years, Mike, it doesn't matter what the records are. It doesn't matter who's playing for each team. These games are always competitive.
We have had great games with Georgia Tech, just down to the wire. And Georgia Tech is in a older physical group. They've beaten Kentucky. They've beaten North Carolina. We have the utmost respect for them. I think we've won 3 in a row in the series right now, but every game goes down to game situations.
Mike, thank you and good luck this week.
Thanks, Jack.
Folks, that will do it for this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey. Coach and I will return next week to break down all the highlights of Notre Dame's games with North Carolina and Georgia Tech. Until then, for Coach Brey, I'm Jack Nolan. Happy New Year, everyone. Stay safe, and as always, go Irish.